Sunday Soul, a soulful conversation on a Sunday to get you right for your week. Because you always hear me say, if you waited till Monday to get that mind right, you're a little late, right? You're never too late because you're living and you're breathing and you have purpose. But we want to get your mind and your soul right on a Sunday. And I love having these conversations with people that I love, that mean a lot to me, that I think are fantastic and doing amazing things in the world. And it's almost like that feeling of a Sunday nap, Sunday after church, Sunday and a good sermon, Sunday and a good brunch. It's just a real good, warm feeling in your soul. And I'm glad I have my tissue near me because this man is so instrumental in my life. I met him when I was reporting for the Tuscaloosa News in Alabama as a sportscaster. And I knew him as one of the most sought after motivational speakers in the world. Fortune 500 companies, Nick Saban, pro teams, just amazing. And he gave me his time and I got to do interviews with him. And then fast forward to 2016. I'm about to introduce this man. I'm giving him the walk-ups of all walk-ups. And then in 2016, I told him about this crazy, audacious idea that I had to change the narrative in college athletics. And this man called and said, hey, by the way, Jimbo Fisher and FSU wants you. Are you ready? And thus was born I'm Changing the Narrative. Dr. Kevin Elko, how are you, my friend?
Good. You're so much fun. Thank you. You're such a blessing. I'm doing wonderful. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. So my heart is bubbling over because literally this man took a chance on me. He knew what was in my heart, but he took a chance and he stuck his neck out. And that's what we teach in the movement, Dr. Elko. We teach, I want it to be all about what you teach because you poured into me today, but we teach to stick out your neck out for people. We teach that the world has enough followers that desperately need kings and queens to stand up and be who they were created to be. You didn't have to do that for me, Dr. Elko, yet you did. And so I just want to start with that and by saying thank you and tell us where are you in the world today and what are you doing? Because I want the world to know this man who is so instrumental to me and so instrumental to champions all over the world.
Well, you're so kind and you got so much good energy and you are making a difference because, you got sent here to do something and you did it. So congratulations to you and what you're doing. And more congratulations to all the people you've impacted. Teach them how we need to love one another and really care about one another. So anybody out there teaching the kind of things you're doing with love and concern and care and changing, see, we can sit back and talk about what should be better, or we could talk, or we can go do. And you're a doer. So yeah, I had no problem saying you got to get on this train. I had no problem with that. So I'm still doing the same work I'm doing. We have a book out now called Believing is Seeing. And we have that one out. We came out for Whitman Press. So that's been a lot of fun. Still work with the Crimson Tide. So that's been a lot of fun there with Nick. And doing a lot of stuff with corporations. Going into Louisville baseball here. Wednesday I go in. And so I'm doing the same work. Just out there trying to do what you're doing. Just preach and teach the good message.
Yeah. One of your messages, there's a number of them, but one of your messages has been completely revolutionary for me. And it's one that, I think it was Zig Ziglar that said, motivation is like showering. You have to do it every day. And one of your messages has just changed my life in so many ways. And it's very simple, but it's very profound. And I have to remind myself of it all the time. And it's be where your feet are. And I quote you all the time. And I look down at my toes and I happy tears and I wiggle them. And I say, I'm here at this moment. Don't curse it. Don't curse your struggle. I'm here at this moment for a purpose. And I'm not living in yesterday, Dr. Elko, and I'm not living in tomorrow. I'm working for tomorrow, but I'm not living for tomorrow. I want to be where my feet are and not miss the blessing of where I am at this very moment.
Rachel, about 4 years ago, they carried me out of my home in an ambulance. And I told everybody goodbye. I thought my life was over. And that didn't happen to me. It happened for me. And then you come back from that and you realize this one thing. You realize you have to live this day. And this is what we have. My sister was here last night. We were talking about this story years ago I gave her where this guy's wife was passing away. She had cancer. He went to her and said, how does it feel like knowing that you're dying? She said back, what's it feel like pretending like you're not? And I know you just went through loss. I know what you went through, but those always teach us that this is our day. We have today. This is what God gave us. So let's be where our feet are. Let's not lose today's strength on tomorrow's problems, and let's get completely absorbed in today in what we're doing. And I think that be where your feet are. We have to keep teaching and reteaching us. We start running down the road. Bring it back and live in today. Be where your feet are. And it's a challenge. We have to challenge us to be in this moment, be in this time. And so we teach self-talk everywhere I go. And that's one of the big ones. Just be in this day, be where your feet are.
Another big one that I remember when I first got to know your work when I was covering the Crimson Tide is don't pray for a blessing, pray to be a blessing.
Right.
I think I got it somehow, and then we heard Nick Saban start to speak that out in the press conferences. The team started speaking it because they do incredibly a great job when it comes to media training there. But you started to see the players embody that and teach that, and Nick was teaching that. And that's such a wonderful way to live this life that we've been blessed with.
Rachel, if you buy a new car, you'll be happy until somebody scratches your car.
Mhm.
But what's different is joy. That's different. When you do your work, when you do your specific work, and you see the light bulb go on with someone who now thinks, she's changed the narrative. She's changed how I thought. She's now taught me that I need to see human beings as human beings, not as something other than that. That's joy. And it's something very, very different. And, the Bible, even the Quran, it doesn't talk much about happy. But, rejoice greatly. Those phrases are in there a lot. There was a man in my hometown that was in a gas station, and his name's John Potter. And a woman came by and said, "Take me to a homeless shelter." He said, "No." He drove away and it haunted him. So he went back and she was gone. So every day he goes on Reddit to find one thing he can do to help somebody. And recently, he said, "I've been pet sitting, I've been moving furniture." But recently somebody said, "I need a kidney," and he gave his kidney. And so that's joy. So what we say to Alabama is, your phrase is right. I'm not looking for blessings to come into my life. I'm looking to be a blessing in somebody's life. Let me go get up today and see how I can make somebody else's day lighter, better, how I can bless them. Is that not the Rachel Baribeau story? Come on, somebody. You're gonna get me going in a minute. Now I'm gonna get good in a minute here. So that's your story. So what you say is that's what I want to do. So we came in after the tornado. Says, "I'm not looking for blessings to come into my life. Can I go be a blessing in somebody's life? Can I go serve someone? Can I go make a difference?" And if that's not your movement, then I don't know if I'm walking around by horse. If that's not your movement, that's what we have to do.
It's so true. And I know you've worked with Nick for a really long time since he was at LSU. And you mentioned the tornado that happened in 2011, April 27th, 2011, changed my life. I was able to ride a Red Cross truck for months afterwards. I was in between jobs and got to organize a flatbed truck at the shelter. And we had new clothing, workout clothing, and we had speakers, and we brought dancers, and we danced. And a man said to me, "It's the first time I've smiled since the storm. Thank you." But what you brought up for me, and you can answer this question so much better than I can. I know his wife, I know his daughter. I covered him for many years, but you're very close to Nick Saban. I believe something happened after that tornado. I believe that that had it not been for that tornado, maybe Nick might have gone somewhere else, another offer one day. Maybe it was Texas, wherever it was. But what a lot of people, the story that a lot of people don't know is the morning after, because it hit about right at dusk. The morning after, he grabs that turnip seed and they get water and they start handing out water, and people are following him, and he's a beacon of hope the morning after the tornado. And it's my personal belief, Dr. Elko, that something died that day and something was born that day. And what died maybe was his wanderlust, or what died maybe was the thought of going elsewhere. But what was born was the roots to Tuscaloosa and that bond to Tuscaloosa. And I don't know. I love to see what has happened with Nick Saban and the humanizing and the human part of Nick Saban that I've been able to see, that I like to tell others about.
I don't, Rachel, I don't, it's a good question. I don't know if it was that day, and I can't even speak for him, but I think for all of us, I've known him over 20 years. And, a phrase I like to say is, I'm not who I want to be. Thank God I'm not what I used to be.
Mm.
And I think you have to keep growing. And I think that what happened over time for all of us is we do keep on growing. And again, I can't speak for him, but if I was living in Alabama and how fabulous those people are and the environment, and I know what he said. I know what he said right after it happened. This whole state was here for us. Now we're going to be there for them. And what happens with our spirit is we grow when we give. We grow when we go out and serve. And he's grown. I've grown. Thank goodness. I'm not what I used to be. I've grown in the right direction. And I don't know exactly what bonded him to there, but I know he loves there. And more importantly, I know his wife loves there. So that's more important. So the answer might be, I don't know. That you might want to ask her that question, because I think possibly she said, "Hey, we ain't leaving." So I don't know how that goes, but I know he flat loves it there, because when his other offers have come in, I've known about them, and different offers have. He's never come to me and says, "Hey, I'm considering going to XYZ University." He's never said that to me. He's always says, "I like it here. I love it here. I'm committed to here." And he never said. I know what he does say to me every time we win a national championship. He calls me the next day. Go, "You ready to do another one?" I go, "I only think 12 hours passed. You ready to do another one?" I said, "Okay, coach, I'll help you do another one." So I think he's really there. But what it was, Rachel, I don't know. I think it was over time. He loved it. I think Terry loves it. Miss Terry loves it there. And what's not to love?
They are the most fantastic couple. And you know this because you've worked with him. But she runs the show. And he'll tell you that. He'll tell you that she picks out his clothes. She tell him we can come and go. I mean, Nick may be the boss at the facility and on the team, but Miss Terry, she is the boss in the house.
Well, we all need a clothing consultant. Us fellas do, so I understand.
Oh my
You have to
God.
be smart to know where you're not very smart.
Yeah. And I just have one more question about him, and I want to get back to you because he is such a fascinating person, and you've had an opportunity to work so closely with him. We did an article back when I was reporting, and you were so amazing to me to do this article with me. And we talked about what made him different, how he ticks, what made him different. Would you share that with your thoughts on that with my viewers?
Yeah, what I would say now, as time's gone on, what makes him a really, really different is this phrase, unrealistic. I wouldn't have said that before, but I'll say it now. I went in at LSU, it was my first day with him, and people that live a small life, they're realistic. Well, you can't do that. Rachel, you can't go out and change the narrative. Nick, you can't get in there and win the national championship. And they're realistic. And great champions, they're unrealistic. What do you mean I can't? I mean, you look at the people that have done that impact, they're unrealistic. And I went to him at LSU, and I was kidding my first day there. He just lost a text. I go, "Now I'm here, we're going to win a national championship." He went, I said, "Man, I was kind of kidding around. We won it." And he never talks about that they can't. He might say, "We've got to do these things and that thing. We get more discipline." But I tell people, go be more unrealistic. Hey, faithful people. Easter was yesterday or last week. It was unrealistic. So we have to get to a point where we're saying, "I believe anything can happen. I believe we can go to the next level." You want me to be honest? That's him calling me there. We think we go to the next level. We could do something different. We can go and be better than we ever were. So I don't think that real champions think realistically. They think, why not? While other people say, "Well, you're not being realistic." You're right. I'm not realistic. I'm faithistic. I think anything can happen.
Woo!
And that's where I think he's really, really different. And
Oh,
he teaches and challenges people. I think we can do anything.
I love it. And second of all, when you do talk to him, please give him my regards and tell him I said hello. I actually wrote him a thank you letter when I left Tuscaloosa, and I said, "Thank you for being tough on me. Thank you for treating me like an equal. Thank you for not going easy because I was a girl, in the interview room." And I told him, "Thank you. You made me a better human being, a better reporter." And so he did that same thing to me that he did to his players, and think the world of him. But I got to ask you this, Dr. Elko. For me, I say this all the time. Money is great, and it's fantastic because you get to do more and change more people's lives if it doesn't own you. But for me, I am a billionaire in my soul because of the people that I get to touch and get to help, because people are my currency. When somebody says you changed my life, I'm back, talking to my mama now because of you. My estranged father and I are talking. I'm a better father or husband, or I've gotten counseling because of you. What is that kind of life change story for you? Is there one that sticks out? I know there's so many, Dr. Elko, but is there one or two that stick out for you?
Probably more than anything was my grandmother put like a lot of time into me. She had 17 grandchildren,
Mm.
and she left her money to me to be a minister, which I'm not, so I didn't take it. And everybody has their own ministry. But my dad was a Marine. He was pretty tough, and he was crying one day. He said, "Your grandma has leukemia. She'll be gone in a week." So I go down to see her, and she's playing the piano and she's singing. And I go, "I thought you were going to die in a week." She said, "Who told you that?" I said, "My dad." She goes, "Who told him that?" I said, "The doctor." She says, "They're not God. I'll go when I'm ready."
Mm.
She lived 5 years. And it was that kind of a mindset and a spirit that I saw that kind of changed things for me and made me think about things very different. And that was probably the big life changing thing that hit me. I'm thinking there's something behind this whole way of how we think and spirit and hope and faith that I thought, let's go make a difference. And she was the one that really hit me.
That's that's amazing. I had a player, and because of Dr. Elko's positioning in my life and sticking his neck out. And if you're watching this today, go stick your neck out for somebody. That's it. At the end of the day, be that person for somebody. Hold that space for somebody. Believe in somebody so radically. I like to say one of my favorite pastimes is encouraging people with my whole heart. Like just popping in, encouraging them, telling them I love you, I believe in you, you got this. But there was a player, Dr. Elko, after one of my talks, and he said, you told me kings do hard things, queens do hard things. And he said, that includes forgiving people that haven't asked for forgiveness. And he said, so I picked up the phone and I called my deadbeat dad and I told him I forgave him. He said, because truth be told, I didn't want to be anything like him, but there were in some ways I was doing that. And he said, we talked and I hung up and I felt like a 2-ton weight was lifted off my chest and I can now be the man that God created me to be. And I say to coaches all the time, don't you think that young man watched film better, practiced better, had better skills in the classroom, had better relationships because he wasn't carrying what we call funky junk in the movement. He wasn't carrying it around his neck like an albatross. And it's such a beautiful, we hear those stories, Dr. Elko, when you hear your grandmother's story about the power of belief. And I love what you said, being unrealistic, right? And I know you taught Coach Saban that because you're so very close to him. We call it in the movement, we say throwing spaghetti against the wall. Hey, let's just see what sticks. Make
Yeah.
no small dreams. There's no magic in them, Dr. Elko.
No, I think that what you want to do, and I think what we have to do is go believe that anything can happen, and that the miracle can work through us. And I think we have to go believe that you can be pitiful or powerful. Go choose powerful and believe that that's going to come through you, and believe that what you have makes a difference, and believe that when you go out, that will be your purpose. And my big thing I'm on right now is let's go all be unrealistic. Let's go think anything can happen. And Carl Jung said, in everyone's life, there's 5 big dreams we have that move our life. Well, you know what? After COVID, let's go use one of them up. Let's go do something huge. Let's go do something that doesn't make sense. Let's go be faithistic. Now, see, now y'all get me fired up. And so, what we want to do is we want to get to that point where we go do that and believe it and show it in our walk, show it in everything that we do. And you have to show it. I mean, when the water parted, of course, for Moses, but it parted for Joshua, and it was different with Joshua. The water was up to his knees, and he's looking up. I thought the water parts. I think you have to show you have faith. You have to show that I believe this is going to make a difference. But John Dornbos is somebody that I love. I don't know if you know his story, but his dad killed his mother.
Mm.
And he's American Got Talent. He's a magician. He's somebody I've got to get on here with you.
Yeah.
And he had got married and had a baby. And I go, I think you need to do a trip to prison. And you got to go forgive your dad. Just
Mm.
if you're going to go forward and be a father, you better get that addressed. And he did.
Mm.
He went, he said, I forgive you for being a place in your life where you were lost. And his dad said to him something like, well, there's more to that story. He goes, I really don't want to hear the rest of your story. I didn't want to hear the rest of it. He's saying, look, you killed my mom.
Yeah.
You're abusive. I don't need to hear you. There's no reason for what you did. I don't care what your reason is, but I forgive you for being lost. And he said, I had to do it to be a dad. I mean, I like your phrase, funky junk. He said, I had to do it, man. I get rid of, I guess you say, the funky junk, go on and be a dad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Forgiveness is powerful.
Woo! It is the most freeing thing, and you think the gift is for somebody else. It's
That's
freeing
right.
for you.
That's right.
It's freeing for you. You stand up, you walk tall. It's freeing for you. Dr. Elko, I know there are people, because I speak at a women's shelter. I get to preach there and give an altar call. I speak all over. I'm doing prison ministry now. I'm on the cover of a magazine, and my testimony's in there. It's going over to 2,000 prisons this month. But then I speak in schools and all of those things. And so I've had a lot of really neat people, and they come up to me and say, I want to do what you do. I want to know how Dr. Elko got started. And if somebody's listening, and there's a young Dr. Elko out there, there's a young Rachel out there, I want to know your story, how you got started. And then also, if you would, maybe some practical steps, Dr. Elko, that somebody could take today if they know they want to be a motivational speaker, or somebody who pours into somebody like you, and an advisor, a coach. Would you share something like that for us?
I just think the first time I spoke was at a football clinic. I think they gave me $15. My second time was at a Rotary. Like, just go out and speak. Do what you're doing. But be bold. And bold means I believe it. I believe in what I'm doing. I believe in this, and go do it boldly. You weren't given a spirit of timidity. You're given power, discipline, sound mind. Go be bold in what you believe. Let people feel the full weight of your boldness. And that comes down to believing. And I'm really into a concept now called the as if. Go speak as if they're all going to believe you. Go speak as if you've got 10,000 people in front of you. Go do it as if.
Yeah.
And it's some of the work of Amy Cuddy at Harvard, but it's called the as if principle. It really goes back to William James years ago. He said, people don't sing because they're happy because they sing. He said, go act like your life makes a difference, and it will. And so I tell people first, go do as if and be bold, and then lean in. As I think there's a book called Lean In, but here's the 10 different laws of success. Ask again, ask again, ask again. Just keep asking. You know, James 4:2, you have not because you ask not. Go ask. Yeah. Hey, let me come speak. Let me go be part of this. And if you're okay with, hey, I don't care if you reject me or not, keep on coming. Yeah. And go be bold and keep on saying, I want on this platform. You have not because you ask not. And so I would say, go prepare, go do the work, have a good sound story. Believe in your heart you're there to make a difference, and this message does a difference. Act as if it does, and it will. And then go lean in as if, and go be bold in what you do.
I love it. I say respectfully relentless, and I say I'm going to keep asking. I'm going to keep at it. I'm going to keep doing those things till you tell me to go away. Yeah. And I always teach my people all over the country. I say no is just it's just an opportunity to step back and reframe, unless it's in dating. A no is a no in dating. That's and right. Then you might be a stalker. So keep that separate. But a no is just, maybe it wasn't time. Maybe I wasn't prepared. Maybe I need to learn a little bit more. Maybe I need to reframe this. So no is just an opportunity to say, maybe I need to get better. Maybe I need to do some work. So I love that, because I know that there are young Kevins and young Rachels that are going to be watching this, because they ask me all the time, how do I do what you do? And I'm like, you just don't quit, you know? And
that's right.
Just like you said, you're relentless, and you keep going. Now, Dr. Elko, I know we got to let you go here coming up in just a moment, but we always leave this podcast with 2 questions for our guests, because I have highly functioning, amazing people on this show. And I ask, what is something that you're focused on this week? Dr. Elko's got his intentions on this week that our viewers could take away for their own lives.
You know, what I really like about what you're doing is challenging. You're challenging people.
Yep.
And so we developed a program called the 14-Day Challenges. And so that's one of the things that we do. And with the 14-Day Challenges, if you go to drelko.com, you could see it. But it's a program where we just challenge people to be unrealistic, have huge, big goals. We're challenging people to go ahead and do what they call nitty-gritty goals, get people around you to keep you accountable to go after it, and clear out that mental clutter, get that mind quiet. And it's a lot of program we did last year with the Crimson Tide, where we did the same thing with Match Me. And that was our program we did last year. So one of the things we're focused on a lot is our 14-day challenge.
Okay.
And so we're working a lot on that sort of thing. And then I'm just working the rest of the time in recreating, I like just getting in there, being creative, creating new books, new things we're doing. We have a book out right now called Believing is Seeing. I did with Reverend Dwayne Thompson, which I'm pretty excited about. But it's more the 14-day challenge and Believing is Seeing is the things that we're doing right now.
Dr. Elko, what do you do for self-care? Because it's so important. I preach it. I talk about it, about mental health and self-care. You can't pour from an empty cup. What do you do to make sure you're charged enough and recharge constantly so that you can go be who God created you to be?
I do two things. I think the most important thing when you charge your battery is when you first wake up, and what we're not paying attention is when we go to bed, because your
Mm.
mind's going to, whatever you put in last, your mind's going to keep on, going and recycling. The very first thing I do is you asked me, so I'll tell you, I put my shoes way underneath the bed. So I get up in the morning, I get down on my knees. That's the first thing I do. And I just pray that I'll go be a blessing today. And I just pray that I'll have peace. The big thing I've been praying lately is don't let my mind get occupied with something I can't do anything about.
Okay.
And so then I spend time, I read a scripture and I try to meditate on that. And then I start my day. The middle of the day, I take a run. And I wouldn't say it's really intense, but I do take a run in the middle of the day and I just kind of savor. I sometimes think about my mom. I know you just lost your mom. I think about people who've done kind things to me, or with me. So I do that. And then at the end of the day, when I'm finally done, I have time that I'll say, okay, here's what I'm going to be with my family. But then the day I go down and hit my speed bag and play my guitar. I play Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head, Country Road Take Me Home, Sweet Home Alabama, and then my day's wrapped up. Last thing I do is I play my Taylor guitar.
Yeah,
And
love
so then I go up. But then when I'm ready to go down, I always go on YouTube and I watch a short sermon. I want something strong and I want something spiritual in my head when I go down. And I
Mm.
found that's really important because I don't want to wake up in the middle of the night, with something negative. And I found out that's been unbelievable. We put so much time on how we open the day, but I've been spending as much time or more on how I close the day.
This is why you're my mentor. This is why you opened this door for me, which now 40 plus schools, Border Patrol, Big 12, Big 10, Northern Sun. What you've done is just phenomenal. And again, it wouldn't be what it is today without you. And my grandmother used to say, when somebody gives you a compliment, you say, yes, thank you. It would not be what it is today without Dr. Kevin Elko. And we talk about that too. We say, at the end of the day, man, being grateful and having a grateful heart and a grateful spirit, and recognizing that you may not get, another gentleman we both knew, Kevin Turner, he said, you could step off a curb tomorrow and get hit by a bus. Right?
That's right.
He said,
That's right.
I say I'm sorry. I hug my kids. I live every last day to the fullest. And he was the other inspiration for this movement. And so I go and I teach that as well. And I'm just so grateful that we got a chance to do this. We got to do it again so you can pour into my audience even more. And Dr. Elko, beyond the 14-day challenge, beyond the books, if somebody says, I got to get Dr. Elko into my church, my corporation, I want to work with him one-on-one, I believe you do that. How do they find that information?
Just go to drelko.com and then just contact us. And my guy runs a snake. He'll take care of you. So go in there and say, I want to go to just go to drelko.com and we'll take care of that. And I'm not going to say thank you. I'll say something different. One of my emblems is the fork. And I'll tell you why it's the fork. This lady was coming to the end of her life. And she's telling the minister, when they finally lay me out, put a fork in my hand. I said, why? He said, well, every time we had dinner down at church, we'd give us dinner. And then they'd say, wait a minute. Now we're done with the dinner. We have the most amazing desserts coming. Keep your fork. The best is yet to come. So I'll say the best is yet to come. You get your fork ready. We ain't done yet. We ain't done yet.
We're just getting started. We are just getting started. And one day, very soon, I'll get to share a stage with you again. I've sat and watched you and been to a number of your events, and you inspired me so much. But I can't wait for that day, my friend. God bless you. Keep up the great work you're doing, and we'll do this again soon.
Thank you. God bless you. I love you in God's favor. You keep doing it too. Thank you, Rachel.
Love you, Dr. Elko.
Hey, Rachel Baribeau here. If you love this video, please subscribe. You can also hit that little bell down there, and that will let you know every single time we go live. And one better, leave us a comment. And the ultimate, share it with a friend, because that's the power of social media. That's the power of good news. It travels fast. I love you guys. Thank you so much. See you next time.